This lecture is about control unit. In this lecture, we will discuss the control signals generated by the control unit depending upon different inputs, how these inputs are controlled by the control unit, and using these inputs, what is the major operation which is performed within the control unit, and the control signals are generated through the control unit. So control unit is the most complex block part component of a control computer system from the designer's point of view. Due to the complexity that is involved in the control unit, it is quite difficult to design the control unit. So the function of the control unit, we have discussed earlier, different control signals can be generated depending upon the instructions. The instruction given to the system is also given to the control unit. On the basis of the instructions, control signals are generated, and control unit is responsible to handle all these instructions. What type of control signals can be generated, it is all dependent upon the type of the instruction. So the figure is showing a block diagram of the control unit. There are three different inputs that are given to the control unit. These inputs are responsible to give data information about the instruction through the instruction register, and data from the index register is given from the index registers. The third component is the PSR, processor status register, which is responsible to transmit or to give information to the control unit about the status of the status of the computer system. So the data of index register is given to the control unit. We have three index registers. Earlier we have discussed that three different index registers can be used in this 16-bit computer. These index registers are selected through the bit number 8 and bit number 9 of the instruction format. We have three index registers: index register 1, index register 2, and index register 3. And these all index register can save 16 bit of data. The information about this data is given as an input to the control unit. The other part of the control unit which is given as an input is the instruction register. All the information related to the instruction, we all know that it is in the instruction register. During instruction fetch process, the instruction is fetched from the memory and it is given to the instruction register through memory buffer register. So the instruction will be in the form of instruction format. There are 16 bits of the instruction format. We have discussed in detail the complete description of the instruction format. Out of these 16 bits of the instruction format, the first 8 bits are of the address. The 2 bits are for the selection of index register. 1 bit is for the indirect addressing mode description, and the 4 bits are used for the opcode. So all these informations related to the instruction, address, index register, and indirect addressing mode, all these information are given to the control unit. When the control unit receives this information about the instruction address, it generates control signal according to the given information. So let's suppose if we have instruction, add instruction, control signal will generate different signals related to the add operation. So if there is add operation in the instruction format, opcode of the add operation, So control unit will generate different types of control signals that are used to perform add operation in the system. So let's suppose if there is an add operation or there is an add instruction which is given to the control unit. So the number of control signals that will be generated by the control unit, they will be first there will be two input signals. We have discussed in the bus structure about the add operation. So control unit will generate a signal accumulator to bus 1, MBR to bus 2, add operation, add signal, and then accumulator to bus 3. These are the four signals which are generated by the control unit for the add operation. So if there is another instruction, uh, let's suppose we have a load instruction LDA. So in LDA there will be the action which will be performed in LDA instruction will be data will be moved from the memory to the accumulator. So the control signals that are used to be needed to generate different control signals for the LDA instructions, these will be generated by the control unit. So instruction register will be responsible to give information related to the instruction that will be in the form of opcode. This opcode will be decoded and the instruction will be then uh, information control signal related to that instruction will be generated by the control unit. The other input that will be given to the control unit is the processor status register. We know that there are 5 bits in the processor status register: carry, negative, overflow, interrupt, and 0. The information about these bits will also be given to the control unit, and control unit will generate different control signals depending upon the status of the processor. So we have connected or we are going to transmit information of the instruction index register. So why we have connected index register to the control unit? Because there are three index registers which are used in this 16-bit computer. Let's suppose we have instruction TIX to increment the contents of the index register. We are using, let's suppose, index register 1 in the TIX instruction, and we have uh, 16 bits of the all the 16 bits of the index registers are 1. The index register has reached its maximum limit. The data has reached its maximum limit, so all the bits of the index register are 1. And we have instruction TIX. We are giving the system that we are giving instruction TIX to the system to increment the contents of the index register 1 or increment data of the index register 1 by 1. So we have reached maximum limit of the data, so this instruction cannot be executed because we have reached the maximum value, maximum limit of our data. So for that reason, index register is also connected with the control unit, that if these type of instructions related to the index register are given to the system, so control unit should be familiar with the data of the index register. So within the control unit there are three blocks. We have run, state, data, and the fourth one is the clock. The control unit will work on the basis of the clock signal or clock cycle. The clock will be the major part of the control unit. Different types of control signals will be generated with these clock pulses. We have discussed in the bus structure that we can use different parts of the clock cycle. We can use rising edge of the clock. We can use falling edge of the clock. We can also use high pulse of the high level of the clock cycle or clock pulse, and we can also use low level of the clock cycle to generate different clock signals. So within the control unit, there are three major components or three major blocks. One is data, the other is state. So we have given three types of input to the control unit. One is the information from the index register. The other are the contents of the processor status register. And the third one is the data contents of the index register 1, index register 2, and index register 3. So within the control unit, we have three main blocks. One is the data flip-flop. Data is composed of the flip-flop. Flip-flops are used to form the data block, and data is responsible to facilitate the handshake between CPU and the input output devices. So what is the handshake? If CPU or the system want to communicate, want to transfer data to the output device, so first the availability of that output device will be checked. If the device is available, if the device is ready, can a system or a CPU communicate with that device? So all will be done during the handshaking process. So the handshaking process will let the computer or the system know that the device whom the system want to communicate is available, ready, or in a waiting state. So these information will be transferred to the CPU or the system during the handshaking process. If the device that is either input or output, it acknowledge the system, so the data transfer will be initiated after the handshaking process. So the handshaking process will be done by the data block. The second one is the run block, which is also composed of the flip-flops. It indicates the running state of the machine. It will show the current status of the machine, which instruction is being executed, what type of control signals are generated by the control unit, how many control signals are generated by the control unit, which instruction is being currently in the fetching or execution phase. So all the information related to the current state of the control units, current state of the system will be uh, done in this second part or second block. The third one is the state register. State is the 2-bit register, and it will be used to distinguish between the three phases or three states of the instruction cycles. So this is the 2-bit register, which will be responsible to show or to distinguish between the phases of the instruction cycle. So we have three phases of the instruction cycle, or we can say that there are three phases of the instructions. If the instruction is a simple data transfer instruction, that is, we are moving data from one memory to the other memory, it is related to the simple instruction. So the status of the 2-bit register or the state register will be 0 1. So if there is a simple memory transfer, so the status will be 0 1, that is data is being moved or data is being copied from one memory to the other memory. So this is the simple register transfer, and in this case the contents of the state register will be 0 1. The second state or the second phase is the complex register transfer. if we are moving data from one memory to the other memory, and this data is also being added with some other data of the memory location, and then data is also moved to the third memory location. So this type of data transfer will be complex data transfer, and in this case the status of the bits will be 10, and this will be the complex data transfer or complex phase of the instruction cycle. So the second phase is the complex data transfer. In this case, there will be complex data transfer. It may be in the form of data transfer and addition of the data, and then the other result or the contents are moved to the other memory location. So this type of instruction cycle is a complex instruction, and this is the second phase of the instruction cycle. The third phase of the instruction cycle is the input output. If data is being transferred or data is being received from the input output devices, that this type of state is the third state, and in this case the status of the state register, the status of the bits of the state register will be 1 1. If the status of the state register is 1 1, then there is an input or output instruction which is being executed by the system. So there are three possibilities. uh, First one is simple memory transfer, the second one is complex instruction, and the third one is input or output instructions. So if the status of the state register is 00, it means that we are not using any of the three phases of the instruction cycle. So within the control unit there are three main or major components, which are data block, run block, and state register. Depending upon the input, the control unit will generate different control signals at the output using these internal three component or blocks. Now we have different types of control units. Usually we discuss two types of control unit. One is the hardwired control unit, which is also known as SCU. The other one is microprogram control unit, which is also known as MCU. In hardwired control unit, the output of the control unit, that are the control signals, are generated by the logic circuitry. These logic circuitry is based or built upon logic gates and flip-flops. This hardware control unit or HCU control unit, HCU, is formed by the gates and flip-flops. Different control signals are generated from the output of these logic circuitry. The second one is the microprogram control unit. In microprogram control unit, the sequence of micro operations, these are correspond to each machine instruction that are stored in a read-only memory, which is called a control ROM. All the information related to the instructions are stored in a read-only memory, which is a CROM, control read-only memory. Whenever or whatever instruction is given to the system, this type of control unit, that is MCU, generate different control signals depending upon the nature of the instruction. So all the data information related to the instructions are saved in this read-only memory. Whenever there is a instruction which is given to the system, the information related to the instruction is also given to the control unit, and the MCU, it generate different types of control unit depending upon the nature of the instruction. So all the instructions are saved, all the information or data related to the instruction are saved in the MCU, and the control unit generate different control signals whenever the instruction is given to the system. So now we will discuss which control unit type is flexible by either MCU or HCU. So the microprogram control unit scheme is more flexible than the hardwired control unit because there are already the instructions are already stored in this MCU microprogram control unit. These instructions can be changed, can be increased, can be enhanced by reprogramming the control ROM or by replacing the control ROM. If there is a instruction extension for the HCU or hardware control unit, so all the circuitry of the hardware control unit will be changed or increased or enhanced, which is the more complex task. So that's why MCU is flexible than the HCU because of the enhancement or advancement in the instruction set. So whenever there is enhancement or increase in the instruction set, MCU will be much easier to handle than the HCU. So hardware changes to the control unit are minimal in the MCU, while any such change to the instruction set requires substantial changes or more changes to the hardwired logic circuitry. So we have discussed a control unit in detail, the inputs of the control unit, within the control unit, what are the main or major blocks, and what will be the control signals that will be generated by the control unit depending upon the nature of the instruction. Then we have discussed different types of the control unit. What are these types? How these types can be categorized, and which control unit type is better than the other.